guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Classics Battle Ram. Haha, finally! This is my personal favorite Masters of the Universe vehicle. I always loved the Battle Ram in the vintage line. I have fond memories of playing with it as a kid, and it's the one vehicle I have wanted to see in the Classics line for years, ever since we saw that original prototype that the Four Horsemen snuck out at San Diego Comic-Con. So I am so happy, after being teased with just the Sky Sled, that we finally have the full Battle Ram to add to our collection shelves. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this vehicle. It does come in that larger window box packaging that we've seen with a lot of the larger scale vehicles there, fully showcasing the vehicle within, as well as the included Man-at-Arms action figure. And when you look at the back of the box, it's really cool because it has sort of like this blueprint design. Looks like it's drawn on a scroll or something with an image of the Battle Ram and kind of pointing out all the cool little features of it. So it's a very neat box that you're probably definitely going to want to save specifically for that awesome artwork that's on the back. Alright, so when we open up that box, this is what we get. But before we move over to the Battle Ram itself, let's go ahead and focus on the included Man-at-Arms figure first. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why are we getting another Man-at-Arms? We've had a few of them in this line already. But the one thing that's kind of neat about this specific Man-at-Arms is it sort of gives us all of these last little pieces to create various different versions of Man-at-Arms as seen across the different Masters of the Universe media over the years. So the one big thing you noticed about this particular version is he is not wearing a helmet. This is our first ever unhelmeted Man-at-Arms that we have ever received, complete with a little ponytail in the back that we often saw in the 2000X MYP cartoon series. He's also wearing armor pieces on both arms, similar to what we saw with the Palace Guards. And looking down towards the bottom, he has those same style feet from the Palace Guards that are very close to what he was wearing in the Filmation cartoon series. The figure itself has the same sort of construction that we've seen with all the other Classics figures, and the articulation does seem nice and tight on this guy, so we don't have any issues with loose joints or anything like that. You see the legs go outwards, forwards and backwards. You got that softer loincloth piece there. Got a good solid joints at the knees. The ankles are the nice ones without the pinholes showing there, so you can see they're very tight. Very nice tight articulation there, so he's not going to fall over or anything like that. He also includes another one of the silver Grayskull weapons like we saw with those Palace Guards, and flipping him around to the back just like on the other versions of Man-at-Arms. We have the little kind of weapons rack back there with the removable blaster gun that you can just store right there on his back, and of course his signature mace weapon, which also stores right there on the back. So, the thing that makes this guy so extra cool is that now, with the original Man-at-Arms figure that we have, and the Snake Man-at-Arms figure that came out, we can use this extra body with some of these parts to create the three kind of key versions of Man-at-Arms, being the original toy version without the mustache, the Filmation version with the mustache and the armor on the arms and those new Filmation boots, and the 2000X Man-at-Arms with the helmet off, the ponytail showing, and kind of that techno armor and the little blaster that he wears on his arm that we saw with the Snake Man-at-Arms figure. So that's pretty cool. Now, whichever Man-at-Arms is your favorite, you have the option to display any of them or all three of them on your shelf. So pretty clever thinking on Mattel's part to give us these last few pieces we need to make the rest of the Man-at-Arms figures. Alright, so let's move him aside and focus on the main attraction, the Battle Ram itself. This is a beast of a vehicle. It measures over 15 inches in length, and it does have a really nice solid design to it. Now, it is lightweight. You can tell it's made of a hollow plastic, very similar to the vintage one, but it still feels like a nice solid construction, so it doesn't feel cheap or anything like that. Just nice and light, so it's easy to kind of roll around or even play with for kids. You see, it's got the nice kind of plastic wheels on there. Rolls very nicely across a nice hard, flat surface. And the thing that makes this thing so great is all of the paintwork on here and all of the sculpted detail. The Four Horsemen did an amazing job of taking the design of that old Battle Ram toy and translating it into this new format. Taking all the little things that were once stickers that were on the old toy and making them fully sculpted and painted parts all the way around. I mean, everything from the little designs on the back of the rocket, the little control panel that's on the Sky Sled itself, got that great kind of like weird dragon design in the front, Also have this really crazy, bright, colorful mask thing that was always on the back of the Battle Ram. Always a really weird and intriguing symbol, I thought. But it's very, very bright and vibrant on this thing. It kind of pops a little too much, I might almost say. The rest of the Ram does seem a little kind of darker toned, and this thing is really bright. It's also worth noting it's kind of made of a gummy plastic. It is glued to the back, but I suppose if you really wanted to, you could probably peel that off of there. But I would definitely kind of be careful with it. You wouldn't want to tear it or anything. It's a neat looking little sculpt and design though. Cool stuff like on the back, you'll notice that there's a little tray kind of sitting off the back with little handles back there. It does have foot pegs, so that way you could stand He-Man or any of the other heroic warriors on the back, gripping onto the back of the Battle Ram. Again, this piece here, made of a softer plastic. I kind of expected that to be a little bit more rigid, but that is a softer plastic there. The rest of the vehicle is nice and solid though. It's all hard plastic all the way through and through. Got some really great designs. I love the exhaust pipes kind of sticking off the side there. A lot of stuff about this just looks really cool. Now, one of the other things I definitely want to point out is you might notice that the Sky Sled on the front is designed a little differently than what we had before. This one has a snake head on the front, while the Sky Sled, or the Jet Sled that they were calling it, we got released by itself, has that classic kind of griffin head on the front. That's what the original toy looked like. But if you were a fan of the old Filmation cartoon series, you might recognize the little serpent head as being the Sky Sled that the villains always flew on. Now, one key difference here, that version in the Filmation cartoon series was actually more of a green color than the blue color used here. And I believe that Mattel initially intended this part to be green, but because, you know, there's always that fear that not all the fans bought the original Sky Sled, they opted to go ahead and make this the same color as the rest of the Battle Ram. That way, if fans didn't already have this piece, they could still have a full Battle Ram and it wouldn't be mismatched in color. So, if you do already have this piece, the cool thing is that the Sky Sled on the front is detachable. Just give it a nice tug there, and it pops right off. It just has these little clips right here that kind of clip into place, just like that, but pops off very easy, just like that. You just got to give it a little bit of a tug, work it out, and you pull it and you detach it there. But I love it because it does have the little kind of blasters on the back, and they're painted with a nice metallic color. So they didn't like have an unfinished sculpt or anything. It's still like a full sculpted vehicle in its own right. So then you can set that aside for your villains, and if you do have the already released Sky Sled, you can now attach that to your Battle Ram to have the full regular Battle Ram as it appeared in the vintage toy line. And it is one really cool vehicle. Now, the last little cool action feature this has is a firing missile at the top. So first of all, that missile is awesome. Take a look at that thing. I always loved the design of this particular missile in the original line. They were kind of bright orange and they had like the more tube missile backs on there, but I always thought those were so cool. I loved the design of that. So it's a really great new design worked in here. And you can actually just slide that right into the back. And there's a little red button right there at the top, and when you press it, boom! Really great blast. That firing mechanism works beautifully. It only comes with the one missile, but it's pretty cool that they worked in the firing feature. I think that's awesome. I know this is an adult collectible, but I still love toys, and I think it's really cool when we get those blasting missiles like that. Alright, so the Battle Ram looks great. Now let's arm this up with some of the figures here, just so you can see what it all looks like. We can get Man-at-Arms kind of sitting on here, get them gripping onto the grips, ready to ride off the snake mount. Oh, here we go. Get out of here, Mace. Man-at-Arms Mace was kind of keeping him from being able to sit on the back, so that's definitely something to... grip it. There we go. Man-at-Arms ready to go. And then you can get He-Man kind of sitting on the back here. Get his little foot pegs plugged onto the back of the base. Get him onto these grips there. Check that out, guys. Yeah! Rolling into battle. How cool is that? Right out of the Filmation cartoon series. That's really sweet. I love it. That right there just makes a great display on its own right. Just put that on your shelf. How cool does that look? This thing is fantastic. And then, of course, here, we gotta get the bad guys on the Sky Sled, too. They got their own now, so now you can pose this with your evil warriors. And I got Triclops here. He's ready to go. Shoo. Oh, no, you don't, Triclops. Yeah, we can play with these now. We got vehicles. These are straight up toys. We have a play set. We have vehicles. These aren't adult collectibles. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to play with these after I'm done filming. These are so much fun. I love it. It's like recreating my childhood, but in bigger scale here. These are great. I think Mattel did a great job with it. Mostly, I'm just happy to finally have this Battle Ram. It was my favorite toy as a kid, like I said, in that vintage toy line, so I'm happy to see this vehicle brought back in the classic style. So the Masters of the Universe Classics Battle Ram is available right now in limited quantities on MattyCollector.com. So happy hunting, my friends, and until next time. Get out of here, Traps. Yeah! He-Man.